Inside one of the world's most efficient factories, there's a rope anyone can pull that can shut down a multi-billion-dollar assembly line. And the craziest part is, the company wants them to pull it. Why? Because in Japan, stopping everything isn't a failure. It's the best way to get better. And that's why pulling this rope is so much more than a manufacturing secret. It's a window into how two cultures can have a completely different perspective on what improvement actually means. When someone pulls the Andon Cord in a Toyota factory, the response is immediate. Staff swarm to the source, and the first thing they do isn't ask what went wrong. They thank the person who pulled it. Why? Because that person didn't slow down production, they found a defect. And in this culture, that's a gift to the group. But this instinct didn't start with Toyota's cars. It started many years before then, back when they were making looms. Before they ever built an engine, they built a remarkable textile machine that stopped itself the instant a single thread broke. The belief? It's better to produce nothing at all than to produce something flawed. And that instinct was already Japanese, but it took an outsider to give it a framework. Following World War II, Japan was in ruins. And that's when an American statistician named W. Edwards Deming arrived with a big idea. Rather than inspecting products for defects at the end, companies should continuously monitor and improve the process at every step. Do that, and the end result takes care of itself. Japan listened, and they filtered Deming's framework through their own cultural practices. By combining his ideas with their collective willingness to acknowledge that imperfection strengthens the group, the Andon Cord helped Toyota become one of the world's most successful companies. And that cultural practice has a name: Kaizen, change for the better. And it's not just a corporate strategy either. It's a daily practice baked into Japanese life. Now think about that. In the company you work for, would you pull that cord? Or better yet, if someone else pulled it, would you thank them? Or would you be frustrated that they interrupted your work? What's funny is, these ideas that became so successful in Japan were initially rejected in Deming's home country. But after seeing the immense success it yielded for the Japanese, America quickly became more interested. By the 1980s, Japanese cars and electronics were dominating global markets due to superior quality. And that led American car companies straight to the man they'd ignored 30 years ago. So both Ford and GM hired an 80-year-old Deming to teach the same ideas he taught Toyota decades ago. But when they installed Andon cords in their factories, Americans wouldn't pull them. Why? Because in a culture like America that rewards individual achievement, being the one who stops the line doesn't make you helpful, it makes you a bottleneck. But it's not just fear or embarrassment that prevented them from pulling the cord. It's also pride. If you fix it yourself, you get the credit and the promotion that comes with it. So America did what it always did. It individualized the philosophy of Kaizen. It took it from the factory floor and moved it into the mirror. Continuous improvement became continuous self-improvement. In Japan, 1% better means the system improves. In America, 1% better means you improve. You are the assembly line. Every morning you wake up, you're the worker, the inspector, and the manager. And that's not a failure of the system, it's just an entirely different system. The beauty of this approach is it accomplishes something Japan never prioritized: individual agency. The belief that you can change your own life on your own terms through disciplined daily effort. For many people, this works, and it unlocks a level of wealth that's impossible to find in most other countries. But for a lot of people, the solo version of daily improvement eventually stalls. And when it does, when the habit breaks, when the routine collapses, there's nobody swarming you to help. No one thanking you for finding the defect. You just assume the problem is you. And this downside of the American remix begs another question. If this version has flaws, did Japan's version have flaws too? At its economic peak, Japan looked unstoppable. 8 of the 10 largest companies on Earth were Japanese, with Sony, Toyota, and Honda having disrupted entire industries. But following that peak, Japan's economy spent 3 lost decades almost completely stagnant. The same companies that disrupted the world got stuck at the top with nowhere to go. What happened? The system that perfected improvement couldn't improve itself. The Andon cord catches every defect in a process, but it was never designed to question the process itself. There's a common saying in Japan: the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. From a young age, Japanese children are taught that the group functions best when no one stands out. In schools, students clean their own classrooms together, not because there aren't janitors, but because the act itself teaches a lesson. Your role is to serve the collective, not to distinguish yourself from it. In the workplace, where a strong hierarchical element dictates everything, this intensifies further. Leaving the office before your boss is considered disloyal, challenging a senior colleague, even when you're correct, risks being seen as placing yourself above the group. So, when Sony had the chance to lead the digital music revolution, or when Japanese companies built the most advanced flip phones on Earth right before the iPhone reshaped the industry, the ideas to pivot may have existed somewhere on the floor, but the culture ensured they never made it up the ladder. And here's the painful irony. This is the exact same instinct that makes the Andon Cord beautiful. The collective duty that makes a factory worker feel safe, flagging a defect, is the same collective duty that makes a young employee bite their tongue when they have a new idea. In Japan, it's easy to pull the cord at work, but pulling it on your career direction, your happiness, your life, that isn't as easy. In a system built around collective improvement, pulling the cord on yourself, saying, "I need something different," is the real disruption. So if Japan perfected the system at the expense of the individual, and America did the exact opposite, what happens if you combine the best of both? In 1984, Toyota and GM struck an unlikely deal. GM had a shuttered factory in Fremont, California, with a workforce considered the worst in the industry. Workers drank on the job and sabotaged vehicles, but Toyota needed to build cars on American soil. So they agreed to manage the plant and supervise GM's workers. And to turn things around, Toyota flew these workers over to Japan for training. They wanted the employees to train alongside the Japanese workers doing the same job. The result? Within 2 years, quality at the Fremont factory matched Toyota's own factories in Japan. For the first time, Americans didn't just have the tool, they'd experienced the culture that made it work. When GM tried to replicate the results, they made the mistake of copying without the Japanese culture. They installed cords at other plants, but didn't send anyone to Japan. As you can imagine, this led to poor results. Workers got frustrated when others pulled the cord, and some plants cut the cords down entirely. GM never fully embraced the lesson and eventually filed for bankruptcy, all while Toyota kept growing. The tool without the soul didn't just fail, it made things worse. Japan created Kaizen, and America remixed it, but neither version ended up complete. What that factory in Fremont proved, even briefly, is that the two work best when they aren't separate. The individual and the system aren't competing philosophies. They're two halves of the same thing. And that might be the real lesson of the Andon Cord. Not that you should improve 1% every day, not that the system matters more than you, or that you matter more than the system, but that improvement was never meant to be done alone, and it was never meant to erase the person doing it. And that's not a Japanese lesson, or an American one. It's just a human one. If you want to go deeper on what we covered today, I left a book recommendation in the pinned comment. And if this is your first time here, this suggested video is a good place to go next.